Elon Musk certainly making waves this election season, but his mom, Maye Musk, also making headlines after revealing what caused her to ditch the Democrats. Watch this.
When I became a US citizen, of course, I was Democratic because they're the good, kind people who care about America. And then I would watch CNN and MSNBC and read the New York Times, and oh, wow, the Republicans are terrible. But then they'd also say Elon is terrible, and I'm thinking, why are they lying about Elon? When I resigned from the Democrats, I just felt such a relief that I'm not part of the party that's now malicious and dishonest.
Usually, Greg, you have, when you get older, as you would know, people become more conservative. You don't usually...
That's what this is.
Yes, that's what this is.
No, I think you've got it backwards.
I have it backwards.
I think
Reverse. Do you? Reverse.
No. Musk's mom didn't ditch the Democrats any more than Elon Musk ditched the Democrats. The Democrats ditched them.
That's what I said.
The same way they ditched Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, Bill Ackman, all these other prominent independent Democrats. If you just stand still and the vessel you're in is sliding left and further left, it's a lie to say, no, it's you who moved. That's what makes a lot of these people so deeply angry and offended. How can you be in a party that pushes drugs and surgery on children who are incapable of understanding how long life really is? How can you be in a party that puts the rights of criminals before victims? This is not, Democrat or liberal. It's insanity. In the old days, you could be a Democrat because we never politicized crime. We all knew what law and order was. We didn't politicize biology. We knew what a girl and a boy was. We didn't politicize the border. We knew what a secure one is. We could all agree on these things. But even as when Vance was on Rogan, he pointed out how now even censorship is a virtue among the left, disguising it as the fight against disinformation. This is something that old school liberals turns their stomach. Think about the trans surgery for kids thing for a moment, okay? It's finally turning the tide. It's getting exposed. It's being banned in a lot of states. But I'd been talking about this for, 4 years? I was called transphobic. I was accused of hate speech, disinformation, and that was all in an effort to shut down conversation. And who was doing that? The left.
That's right.
And if they had succeeded, there'd be a lot of butchered kids. You're welcome, kids.
You're welcome. Judge Janine?
Stand up for the kids, Greg.
Yes, I am standing.
Maye Musk, and by the way, she's stunning. I mean, I started walking through the green room. I mean, you just want to talk to her. But she had the benefit of what most Americans don't have the benefit of. She knew that once CNN and MSNBC started lying about her son, she knew that's a straight out lie. A lot of Americans, don't see it as objectively. They're like, the Democrats are so good. They're the party. They care about everybody. And I know when I used to swear in newly elected, newly naturalized citizens, it was always the Democrats who were bringing them in. The Democrats were lining them up and getting them to sign up in a political party. And so, it's going to take a lot for people to kind of get away from that. The Democrats really don't care about you. They only care about, illegals getting into this country, affecting your budget, your city, your education, and they don't really care about law and order. They want criminals out there, and they're not going to do anything to keep them in. And they're going to keep electing progressive DAs. But when you talk about J.D. Vance on Joe Rogan, one of the things that Tim Walz said that J.D. Vance was talking about, he said, Tim Walz is so uninformed. He actually said there's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech. Tim Walz, you're stupid. You don't know the Constitution. You don't know what the law is in this country. It is protected speech under the First Amendment.
Don't be so hard on that gay guy. Let's see what happens.
He's happy, Greg.
Yes.
He's that.
Let's see how the media reacts to that versus Walt saying that about Musk.
Exactly. And you know the difference between Maye Musk and Ann Waters? When the media lies about me, my mom believes the media.
But you know what the judge is talking about? It's called the Gelman effect. It's when you trust the media most of the time until you get to a story that you know about, like your son.
And then it opens
Yes.
your eyes.
And you go, holy crap!
You know, but I think what
The
she's
Gelman
talking
effect.
about is something we're going to be watching really closely on election night, which is whether or not there is a true realignment happening in the country, and whether or not the diverse party is becoming the Republican Party with lots of Hispanic and Black voters, and whether or not the Democrat Party has become the party that is in favor of war. And you know, you can look at it any way you want. But the other thing about censorship, when I heard Kamala Harris, the vice president, say that comment that Trump made should be disqualifying. I was like, wait, is that how that works? You get disqualified from running for something that you said in a free speech country. I think all these calls for that should absolutely disqualify. They said on The View, I understand it. But when the vice president said it, I was a little surprised.
Before we get to Jessica, this is
my gosh.
your pen. Okay.
I love that.
Look at this thing. This is
Kim
a jewel
Rosenberg gave me that pen
encrusted
when she went to
royal
Kim
pen.
Rosenberg
It's the
when
size of Prince
she
Harry's
was just
balls.
in the UK.
Kim
has a little
Rosenberg.
crown on top.
Kimmy.
What a pen. Jessica,
I can
beat
use it
that.
like a scepter. I could just do something to you.
Put a spell on me.
Yeah.
I love the pen. So I really think that the Democrats made a big mistake shunning Elon Musk, who believes more in the same things that we do than the Republican Party. I mean, this is someone who believes in climate change as an existential threat and is kind of the father of the EVs here, someone who is fundamentally pro-choice, you know, all these reasons. And I think that Elon Musk needed arms opened to him and to have more conversations about the positive contributions like Starlink, which is absolutely incredible, saving people everywhere from North Carolina to Ukraine to Estonia. And I don't think that Twitter would be the way that it is now if we had been more embracing, and he certainly wouldn't be a top surrogate for Donald Trump if we had done that.
Too bad
But
you embraced Diddy. Big mistake,
we did,
Jessica.
don't do that.
You
No
did.
one is embracing
Isn't it weird?
Diddy.
Everybody that's coming out now for Kamala are somehow also being outed at Diddy parties.
It's a
That's
coincidence.
right.
It's a
Greg.
coincidence.
It just happens to be a
J-Lo.
coincidence.
Oh, Taylor Swift was like 4.
She
when
was
that
at a
happened.
Diddy party?
No, but
Now you've got a headline.
Yeah.
We got to go, though.
Now you
Let's
gotta.
go to a fun
Okay.
segment. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.